Let's talk about the 7 Bs. These are 7 things, 7 Bs that you need to do to make your video have the kind of emotional resonance, engagement, the kind of video that moves people, that makes them compelled to do things. And we'll start out by talking about the first one, which is be likable. Now, be likable, a lot of you may be thinking, well, okay, that makes sense in the context of like a video with a person. But what if I'm like an enterprise B2B ad tech company, right? Like, how am I likable? Well, the first step to getting anyone to engage, to watch, to be interested is they want to watch people they like. Now, that doesn't mean you have to be telling jokes. That doesn't mean, it's all about like the personality you have in a video. But it means there has to be something in there that causes them to be like, this is worth my time. I could be playing Pokemon Go. I could be, on Tinder or Bumble, swiping right or left. No, I want to watch your video. And people want to participate and engage in things they like. So I want to give you a couple examples and then some specific tactics you can do to embed whatever your video topic is and make it more likable. And let's watch one fun video that's fun to watch, and then we'll watch another take on it that's not so overt. So how many people recognize this video? Okay, a lot of people. We'll watch it quickly, and for those of you who've been watching the news, did you see that this company just got bought? Yeah, billion. Got bought for about $1 billion. Was launched in 2012 out his apartment with $35,000 of his own money and sold for $1 billion 4 years later. So certainly the video had something to do with it, and basically the bet from one of the big razor companies was these guys know how to engage with people direct. So hey, with the right video, and if you're likable enough, maybe it's worth $1 billion. Let's watch it real quick.
Hi, I'm Mike, founder of DollarShaveClub.com. What is DollarShaveClub.com? Well, for $1 a month, we send high-quality razors right to your door. Yeah, $1. Are the blades any good? No. Our blades are f***ing great. Each razor has stainless steel blades, an aloe vera lubricating strip, and a pivot head. It's so gentle a toddler could use it. And do you like spending $20 a month on brand name razors? 19 go to Roger Federer. I'm good at tennis. And do you think your razor needs a vibrating handle, a flashlight, a back scratcher, and 10 blades? Your handsome-ass grandfather had 1 blade and polio. Looking good, pop up! Stop paying for shave tech you don't need. And stop forgetting to buy your blades every month. Alejandro and I are going to ship them right to you. We're not just selling razors, we're also making new jobs. Alejandro, what were you doing last month?
Not working.
What are you doing now?
Working.
I'm no Vanderbilt, but this train makes hay. So stop forgetting to buy your blades every month and start deciding where you're going to stack all those dollar bills I'm saving you. We are DollarShaveClub.com, and the party is on.
Okay, so Dollar Shave Club. So what is there? What's really interesting when you go through that video is usually you're setting up an expectation that within that first, for those of you who make videos like 10 or 15 seconds, you've got to capture people's attention. And what happens in this one is in that first 10 or 15 seconds, you think this is a normal video. He's going to explain what they do. He's talking about, then all of a sudden, at about the 12th second, all of a sudden this isn't a normal video, and it's likable and it's surprising in a lot of ways, right? So a lot of this is based on them knowing who their audience is and what kind of guys are going to be frustrated with the normal experience of buying a razor, have a little bit of a satirical sensibility about them, and actually going to their audience. So what I would sort of suggest is that within that first 10 or 15 seconds, if you want a video that can resonate in some way, you got to be likable in some way. That doesn't mean it has to be slapstick, kind of like this. But let me give you an example. So this is one of our videos. The brand is called Canine Carryouts, and here was the situation. There's only going to be a 30-second video. It's short. But the idea was, how can we make this brand likable in a short amount of time? And here's the situation, by the way. This brand has no marketing budget. It's sold at a very inexpensive price, but it's the #1 dog treat sold in Walmart, right? But they generally don't market. However, there was a rumor out there which was untrue, which is that their dog treats contained antifreeze, which was incorrect, and this was spreading around the internet. So the issue was they don't market at all, but we have to actually show that, hey, we're not like an evil company trying to poison your dogs. we actually care about your dogs. We're real people. We're like, people you would like that care about dogs, that make a good product. So how do we demonstrate and how do we show that? And basically with no budget. So the concept we did, which I'm going to show you in the video, was we actually, you'll see in there, you'll see Hubert in the video, and you'll see Cody in the video. They were on another shoot for us in Minneapolis, and we just said, hey, can we let's make a couple of t-shirts, let's rent a car, and let's create the Canine Carryouts Treat Team with the mission to make sure no dog goes untreated. And let's put ourselves in the video because we want to show we're not a big amorphous company that's trying to poison your dogs. We're a real company, right? And we love dogs. So here's what this video looks like. And this was a whole series of videos we did. It was all filmed in under half a day, edited extremely fast. So that video, the whole thing in there and the whole strategy in there is let's show real people. Let's show a couple of guys who look like, I don't know if you think, I would like have a beer with Hubert or Cody. They're like nice guys, good guys. Let's show them out there. How could you be worried or concerned about a brand that has these guys on the road out there treating dogs? Let's show the product. Let's show dogs eating the product happily and know this is a good thing, right? So that's another example of how to be likable. That whole part of that process, as you see Cody at the end, he's raising his hands, he's enthusiastic. A close cousin of likability is enthusiasm, right? When you're enthusiastic for what you do, you tend to be likable. So, a few just 3 tactical points. People don't want to watch people or brands they don't like. So one of your first goals in everything is to come across likable. 2, strive to establish likability within that first 10 or 15 seconds. There has to be something there, and that can be through the guy's personality, as in the case of Dollar Shave Club. It can be for their actions. In the case of something else, in this case, you have these guys going around treating dogs, driving around in cars. I actually think when they drove around, you were going to parks in Minnesota, right? And you have people come to you and say, you guys have the coolest job ever. You guys drive around and give treats to dogs? That's awesome, right? So it's like likable based on the actions they're doing. And finally, end with a likable moment timed with your call to action. So we want to associate that call to action with likability. There's lots of triggers we're going to talk about later in terms of how to trigger actions that we want. One of those is associations with how you trigger that. So in this case, we want likability to be associated with this brand as a primary goal of the brand. So that's the first B, be likable. Second B is be emotional. Be emotional. So this doesn't mean that you have to make your audience cry if you're doing a B2B sales tool video. But it does mean that you need to trigger emotions in some way because emotions are the key to action. And the way this works is, think about, and let's maybe do an example, is that target emotions that naturally spark audience action. And what is the most shared section of the New York Times? It's actually the science section. It's the science section. And that surprises a lot of people. Well, why is the action of sharing somehow tied to the science section when they guess what's the most shared section? They say, oh, it's the gossip pages, or oh, it's the travel section, I love that, or oh, it's politics, that's trending right now. Why is it science? It's because it activates an emotion, in this case awe, which is a sense of wonderment, how we're connected to the world, how this all fits together. But there's other emotions that cause action. There's emotions like excitement. You feel excited, that causes action. Amusement, and humor is a close cousin of that, is why cat videos do well, right? There's other actions. What else? There's negative ones too that cause action. Angry. You ever been really angry about something and you put your fist towards something or through something? That's anger. What else? Anxiety. If you're worried. This is a big one in this presidential election, right? If you're anxious about something, that can spur action. So the key is that emotion is one of the windows into action. And if we want them to share or cry or laugh or buy, we need to target those emotions in some way. Okay, so let's see how we can connect to awe through the use of video. I'm just going to play you the first part of this video so you can see how a video that probably could have been something else was turned into something that activated awe. And this is the Beats by Dre video for the World Cup. This is the beginning of that video.
Alô? Oi, filho. Tudo bem?
E aí, cabeça?
Tá feliz? Tá feliz, nenhum?
Tô. Claro que tô.
Hoje é um dia importante, como sempre foi na nossa vida. Então, hoje, corra. Corra como se fosse o último dia da sua vida. Corra como fosse um cara louco atrás da felicidade. Corra pela sua família, por seus amigos.
Aquela antena ali, vai lá, mexe naquela antena. Vai naquela antena.
Seja feliz hoje, brinque de futebol. Tá ok? Tá bom?
Ali, essa não veio, essa aí mesmo, mexe.
É, mas tem uma coisa. É importante que você não se poupe.
Why did they put all of that at the beginning? What was the purpose of that? Does anyone have an idea? What did they see of why they initially started with that kind of montage? And for those of you who couldn't read everything, it was basically Neymar, one of their soccer stars, talking to his dad, which is one of his rituals before he plays the game. So why would they put that at the front of the video and not just do the rock video, music video at the end that this is going to turn into? Anyone? Yeah.
You have an emotional attachment to them now.
Okay,
You're
emotional attachment. While you're seeing something that a lot of us probably could recognize, right? Like a father talking to his son. Maybe you've had a meaningful conversation with your parents. So you're recognizing it. That's kind of cool and a superstar to see that he still does that. What else? Why would they put that at the beginning? Yeah, Larry.
It's good foreshadowing setup for something dramatic.
Okay, so it's foreshadowing setup. So it's something's coming. In this case, the World Cup. It's coming. It's ready. They're getting ready. So it's kind of building a little dramatic tension. Yeah.
Contrast, so the beginning is different. It's not monotonous by having the whole video be that second part.
Yeah, so it's not monotonous. It has something else. It sort of has an epic feel to it, a little bit of a cinematic quality. Yeah.
Also contrast too, we always see Neymar in the spotlight, but he's at home in the dark. So it's kind of like, wow, like what's going on? Like why is he here? Draws you in.
Okay, so it draws you in because it's seeing him in a different way and something a little bit quieter, different from the spotlight. Now, why would Beats do this? Those are all great reasons for a video to have engagement. Why would Beats specifically do this? Yeah.
It's showing the range of their product.
Okay, it's showing the range, so it's showing him with the product. But here's what I would also say. Is if you look at the text of that, how does it start with? The father says, run. Right? Run like this is the last day of your life. Run like a crazy man. Run for your family. Run for your friends. And then he says, and remember, and he says, I think at the end he says, and don't forget one thing. And what was that one thing? You guys all remember? Don't hold back. So if you took that emotion that it's constructing right there, what is that emotion? That, I would suggest to you, is actually the brand values of Beats. They are infusing at the beginning. And what they're saying is, and we'll go over how you infuse this later, is they're saying that is advice. That's not just for Neymar. That's advice for what they want to advise you in your life. And that is activating awe, because this is the way the world works. Yeah, let's go out there. No matter if you're not a soccer star, go run like it's the last day of your life. Go run for your family. Go run for your friends. And you know what? In the end of all of that, don't hold back. And you know why you don't hold back? You know how you don't hold back? You put on a pair of Beats headphones, you feel that music, you get powerful, and you go out there and you do what you need to do. Right? So those are the brand values coming back and being infused. They're activating awe, a sense of how the world works, but they're tying it directly to their brand values. It's a dramatic way to open, but there's also projecting their brand truth. They're being true to what their brand is, and that's why that's at the beginning, so they can tell that message. Okay? So here's an example of something we did for Milo's Kitchen. So here's the situation. This is a last minute
Did you do
video.
that one for Dre?
We did not do the one for Drake.
Just ballpark, what's the budget for that? Like $500,000?
Typical TV commercial would run $1 to $2 million. That was cinematic. That was long, and that's a multi-million-dollar.
It's a big ad agency who hired a theatrical filmmaker, for another additional.
So what I'm going to show you is the scrappy way to activate this in a second. But it's a multi-million-dollar production. To give you an idea, even the music licensing on that is a lot, and you can see. I'll talk about this in a second. Why the music is so important. But let's watch. So this is one of our videos, Milo's Kitchen. Basically, we decided to do this video right here on like a couple days' notice because it was like National Dog Day. We had no time to film. Okay, so National Dog Day will get some coverage. We wanted to do something to talk about the brand values. We did it on a couple days' notice. We didn't have any time to film. So this is all stock footage or a couple other little like shots they had sort of that the brand had previously filmed. And this is for National Dog Day. And this is a concept we did on a short time frame to activate emotion, and it's called Thanking Doggy.
From the moment we met, when you gave a sniff and I gave a smile, when your tail wagged and my heart skipped a beat, I knew you were the one, my furry soulmate for life. So even though I may not say it enough, today I'm saying thanks. Thank you, Doggy, for always having my back, for never judging, criticizing, blaming, or even getting mad when I said I'd be home at 8 but I don't make it back until well after 9. Thank you for being so well trained. Make that so independent. For being the best superhero, study buddy, and monster under the bed chaser there ever was. Thank you for helping me stay fit and healthy. Yes, I know it's walk time. Thank you for reminding me that boyfriends come and go, but best friends always stay. And sit. And fetch. Thank you for knowing just how to comfort me without ever saying a word. And showing me that unconditional love is meant to be wet and slobbery. You're part of the family, and we wouldn't have it any other way. Oh, okay. I'll get the treats.
Okay, that's what we were looking for. Now, so what we're doing there is we're actually showing that the brand gets and understands you and your dog better than everyone else, and because we get and understand and love dogs so much, we therefore make the best treats. A way to get more emotion out of your videos is something that we call the circle of whys. And the circle of whys is a way to think about your product, a way to think about your brand, and delve deeper into the emotional underpinning. So let's do an example for, yeah.
Why does it go counterclockwise?
It can go that way, it can go the other way. Circle of whys, you got to look at it both sides, I don't know. I may or may not have done this slide 10 minutes before the presentation. So, circle of whys. Why number one? Let's do this for Milo's Kitchen, which is dog food brand. So, why does someone want Milo's Kitchen products? Well, why number one is that they want to treat their dog, right? Their dog treats. That's why number one. Now, let's go to why number two. Why, if why number one is they want to treat their dog, why number two is why do they want to treat their dog? Well, they want to treat their dog because they want to reward their dog. They want to show affection to their dog. They want to recognize their dog. So then, that's why number two. Then what is why number three? Why do they want to recognize, show affection to their dog? Well, it's because their dog, why number three, contributes to their life in so many ways. Their dog is there when other people aren't. The dog shows them unconditional love. The dog, to use a scene in the video, if they have a bitter breakup and that guy takes off and they're pissed off, the dog is there to comfort them, right? That's the third why. So what this does is this pulls away the layers to get to the emotional underpinning. So when we do this for Thank You Doggy, we know, okay, let's get to that emotional spot of why are we so thankful and so grateful to our dog, and that's where the emotion lies. That's where we can trigger, that's where we can make a connection with our audience, that's where we can compel them to take action. Does that make sense? So let's think about that Neymar video for beats. Let's do the circle of whys for that. So what's why number one? Basically, why does someone buy Beats headphones? Why? Okay, to listen to music. Right, to listen to music. Okay, why number 2? So why do they want to listen to music? Makes them feel good, inspires you, makes things less monotonous, it's just fun. Okay, so it makes because they want to feel good, they want to be inspired, they want to have fun. Now, why do they want to feel good, inspire, and have fun? Why do they want to do that? Happiness makes life better, right? It makes you feel powerful. It makes you feel like you can do anything. It makes life suddenly seem easy instead of hard if all those things happen, right? So that's the third why. Now let's look at their video. Why did they have Neymar at the front and his father is giving him advice? And he's saying all these things like, go for it. You can be powerful. Don't hold back. You can do this, right? They're triggering that third why, and then that connects back to their product. And so how can you do that? Well, you get a pair of Beat headphones, you listen to that music, you feel powerful, and you go conquer the world. Look, Neymar's doing it, right? So that's how you unpack that. So yeah.
Isn't happiness always the third why?
Is it always that? We could keep going. 3 seemed like a good number when I came up with it. But the idea is that asking the continued question why, this is where, so much as filmmakers are making video, we operate in what, right? This is what happens. This is what we're showing. This is what the story is. And instead, where emotion lives is in the why, right? And this allows us to. So we could probably, maybe we go 10 times, we could pull down even further, I don't know. But the point is that get to that emotion, asking the question why over and over again can help you get there. Hi, hello. So, let's see. Be emotional. The most powerful positive emotions are awe, excitement, and amusement. So there's lots of studies done about what are the emotions that trigger things. So if you're operating in awe, sense of connection to the world, how the world works, excitement, and amusement, a close cousin of that is humor, your videos are going to be more effective. The most powerful negative emotions are anger and anxiety. So we actually saw a lot of that. I was just doing some interviews about the presidential election. And we saw a lot of that actually on both sides, right? There was actually, why, were the candidates doing that? So on the Democrat side, it was more anxiety and fear about Donald Trump, kind of focused on that. On the Republican side, it's anxiety and fear about, kind of lawlessness and what's happening. So those are emotions that compel people to action, even though they're negative. So that's another type of thing. We generally like to be more positive than negative, but negative should be, in your toolkit if you need it. And finally, that music is the cliff notes to the emotion that the audience should feel. So this is why the musical choice is so important. When you talk to the filmmakers who made that, made the Beats video, they actually said, the key person in all of this was actually Jimmy Iovine, who's the head of Beats, because he actually personally chose the music for that, right? That music wasn't an accident. It's a really, really good musical choice that makes the whole emotion. So a lot of times I think when we make videos, we tend to be a little bit we do it great, then we okay, let's go try some musical tracks, let's play a couple of things, okay, that seems to work good. If music is the cliff notes to the emotion, and emotion is the trigger for action, should we maybe take a little bit more time to think about how music influences that and how we use it to trigger emotion, right? So it's really important there. But be emotional no matter what your topic is. Figure out how to trigger that emotions. And maybe you're thinking, hey, I'm doing an explainer video for a new app that keeps track of your budget. How do I make it emotional or something like that? Well, the key is ask those why questions. And why would someone be compelled? What does that solve in their life? How does that make them feel? And then you can get to that emotional place. So that's number 2. Number 3, be passionate. When we're passionate, the great thing about being passionate is, 1, it's connected to likability, which is point number 1. It helps us become more likable. But 2, passion is something that when we see that in someone else, we give them a little bit more leeway to do and say things we might otherwise hold them at arm's length. So let me give you a couple of examples. Here is the US launch video of Spotify. I like this example. Hero was the first person to show it to me because it's a great example of an explainer video. And if you guys know when I say explainer video, what that is, it's explainer videos when you explain a product or a service. They typically sound like this. Meet Bob. Bob has a problem. Bob can't get girls. But with his new app, all of a sudden he gets fame and fortune and right? So that's an explainer style. It's usually problem solution. Now, look at what Spotify does in terms of being passionate about what they do. Yeah, what do you guys think of that one, right? They explained everything their product does, but did it feel like a meet Bob? Bob has a problem. He can't bring his music everywhere he wants. But now, enter Spotify, right? It doesn't have to be like that. Everything, one, obviously they're a music service, so the music's important for that. But two, they're actually, they open up and they start talking about how this is going to basically change your life, right? And how this is going to enable all these kind of possibilities, and it's flexible, and it's all over, and you can do this, and look at all the ways. And would you say they are passionate about the product? Right? And it comes through, right? They're like, we have just made this thing that is going to change your life. And so what I would suggest is that when you're passionate about your product, when you're passionate about your brand, people are actually more willing to let you do a hard sell. Right? This is kind of a hard sell, right? They're like, okay, it's everywhere, it's in your pocket, it's this, it's going to do that, it's amazing. But they're passionate about it. That's different than if they came up to me with just a hard sell without the passion, right? So here's an example of how we do it. This is something that Hubert and Vincent did for Natural Balance, and this was actually to show a bit of behind the scenes of the company. This was to rally the troops within the company and also show outsiders why they are a passionate company. And this video is called We Believe in Natural Balance. Natural Balance, by the way, is a premium dog food, pretty much the highest end dog food you can buy.
I believe in natural balance.
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 Everyone who comes in to work for the company has a sense of passion for animals, and you just see that it reflects off the work and just their commitment to the brand.
We love being able to work with our pets and work to really make great food for them.
People come to us because they know they can trust Natural Balance to create a pet food for their pet that is safe, that is good for them to eat.
You know, I've grown up living my life with such a love and compassion for animals, and every time you walk through these doors, you get that feeling. So it's just refreshing.
It really is like a family. What I most enjoy about working at Natural Balance is helping people and helping them make the right food choice.
We are safeguarding, through the Buy with Confidence Lab, the product that Natural Balance produces and it sells in the marketplace.
We put the utmost care and nutrition into the foods that we make.
I believe in natural balance because of how happy and healthy my animals are from feeding our product.
I get messages from fans all the time saying how much the food has changed their pets' lives.
We want to assure our customers that they are getting the best food out there, and we believe they are.
We believe in natural balance.
Right, so that video is all about the passion they have for their brand. It's kind of a hard sell, right? They're kind of saying oh, they have a 9-contaminant test where they test for the safety of your dog, and they have all these things. But it's from the point of view of their people are incredibly passionate, and that's true, that's genuine. That's kind of why we seized on it, right? So it's bringing out that passion. When you bring out that passion, you're given a lot more leeway to promote your features, to talk about your brand values, to talk about what it means. Because it's from a place of passion, not a place of sales, right? And so in terms of be passionate, someone who's passionate is the anti-salesman. When you're passionate, the audience will give you more leeway to promote a product. So ask yourself this question. Why do you love your product so much that you would happily shout about it from the rooftops? Why would you just go up to the roof, just start shouting about why your product is amazing? If you can have that kind of passion, if you can bring that out in the video, then you're on your way to the third B. B number 4, be memorable. So much of this is, particularly for those of you who have products that are away from the point of sale. So some of you may have they watch a video, they're online, they click a button, and they're signed up for the service. That's very close to the point of sale. Who here has something not like that, where time's going to happen, they're going to have to go into a store or something else? Raise your hand if you have time will elapse before they might use your product. Okay, some people, right? So this is super important for that because we got to be sticky. We got to be memorable, and we want that to be triggered at the moment they need to take action. Let me give you an example from one of our new clients, which is Budweiser. Budweiser did a campaign a few years ago, and you guys recognize it if I say this. What's up? There you go. Okay, right? You're there. What's up, right, Matt? You guys know that? Did you remember these videos before? It was a whole bunch of guys sitting around going what's up? And everybody's what's up? It's going back and forth, right? So the question is, it was an amusing moment. It played during the Super Bowl, and people enjoyed it. But Was that the only reason that Budweiser did that phrase? Anyway, what would be another reason why they would choose that? Otherwise, it's entertaining, yeah.
When you're drinking Bud Light with your friends, you say it because you've all seen it.
You've all seen it. He's saying when you drink with your friends, you might say it because you've all seen it. That's true, but maybe it's even the other way, which is at the time, like What's Up was like kind of spreading. People were using it. So if they're going to align to that, and people are saying it all the time, and you hear it all the time, and you're in a bar, and you meet, like I meet you in a bar, and you're like, hey, what's up? And I'm like, what's up? Are we going to trigger back and think, oh my God, we got to drink a Budweiser, right? So there's a trigger there in being memorable that's connected to an action. Little side note, a lot of you, including myself, are kind of too young for this, but the Mars Pathfinder was a spacecraft that landed on Mars. NASA sent it there. At the time the Mars Pathfinder was in the news, the sales of Mars candy bars went up with no other marketing. Substantially. Simply because Mars was said a lot. People are like, oh, what am I going to eat today? And in the background was like, Mars Pathfinder lands on blah, right? And they're like, okay, I'm going to get a Mars bar, right? So triggers matter. Be memorable is how we get to those triggers. So here's a crowdfunding video. We do a lot of crowdfunding videos, a lot of crowdfunding campaigns where we do the video as well as the PR for it. This is, has anyone seen this one? Okay, not too long ago, but here it's called Flic. Here's a way to be memorable.
Imagine if you didn't have to get your phone out for every little thing. What if there was a simpler way to interact with your devices? Flic is a wireless button that connects to your iOS or Android device. So instead of going through your phone, you simply press the button. That's better. I use the Flic app to set it up, and then I can stick Flic wherever I want. I can even share this Flic with my roommate, so he can use it when I'm not around. But Flic isn't just for your house. You can stick your Flics anywhere, like in your car or on your bike.
Head straight.
It's really cool.
Your destination is on the left.
And you can clip your Flics. It's great for any situation where you need a quick and discreet shortcut.
Me, 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 me.
Like now.
Me.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I have to take this. But Flic can be so much more than just a shortcut to your phone. It can be integrated with lots of different services beyond your devices. Check this one out. Take me home, cabbie.
So you get the idea. This was just an interesting way that my favorite part of that video is the first, like sort of the 11th second, where you think he's lying down on bed. It's a normal sort of video for crowdfunding. He's going to talk about it, and all of a sudden he's standing up and things pull away, and this is different, right? So there's lots of ways that is memorable, where it's the same basic crowdfunding structure. In fact, it's kind of heavy on all the features that they're showing and stuff like that. They're using kind of some graphics on screen to show features, but it's compelling because one, it has surprising and noteworthy, and two, it's memorable because of how they structure it, even though it's in a very common structure. Just with some visuals, they were able to make it more memorable. So here's an example that we did. This was super fun because this was like Hubert's first project when he joined PR Hackers. Like literally his first day went and did this, which is 9 Lives is the brand. It was me, Hubert, one other person, and basically what we were tasked with was like on a week to 2 weeks notice, bring Morris the cat, who was a real cat, physical cat, a 9 Lives spokes cat, to South by Southwest and do something with him. Okay, it was the challenge, right? Let's make him relevant at a cultural event like South by Southwest. So what we came up with is, let's turn Morris into a tech correspondent for Mashable at South by Southwest. Let's bring the cat there and have him report on technology. Let's create something so surprising and unique and memorable that people have to pay attention. This is there's a whole series of videos. This was, I think, the last one.
Hey folks, it's me, Morris the cat, at South by Southwest. One thing I've learned during my time here is that South by Southwest isn't just about technology, it's about meeting new people and making new friends. I've been blown away by how nice everyone has been. People really love cats.
adorableness, the rolling around, the fuzziness, the cuteness.
I really love cats. I think cats are awesome.
Morris is like the one extroverted cat.
We used to have like 9 orange tabby cats, so he's kind of close to my heart a little bit. Hi Morris, you are the cutest kitty ever.
Oh, that's so sweet. I've met some really fascinating people with cool ideas. Like this girl.
This is the Glyph. It's a revolution in media wear. It acts as both a pair of headphones and a premium near-eye display.
This blogger even shares a common interest with me, the love of delicious food.
What is your favorite food?
I love me some 9 Lives.
Oh, okay.
And I made so many new friends at Mashable too.
He wants some food. How old is Morris?
Forever young.
Duh. I even discovered one new product called Petsy Connect. You can treat your cat, or dog I guess, from anywhere at any time. How cool is that? Most of all, I've learned that technology can bring us closer and help us live well together. And that's why I was a little sad that my South by Southwest trip would soon come to an end. But I had to return to the real world. And a busy schedule of napping, eating, grooming, playing, and hanging out. A tough job. But someone's got to do it, right? But know this. Wherever there is new technology to explore, I will try it. Wherever there are new ways to live well, I will approve it. Wherever there is delicious 9 Lives cat food to taste, I will eat it. This is Morris the Cat, your feline tech correspondent, signing off from South by Southwest, reminding you to always chase your dreams like a red laser dot. After all, you only live, well, nights.
It was a memorable way to sort of relaunch him, and basically he was the most famous cat in the world in the 70s and 80s. Kind of went away, Grumpy Cat kind of took his mantle. We wanted to bring him back and launch him that way. Once we did that in a memorable way, a lot more coverage came. We were able to pitch that to, these are all unpaid, the BuzzFeed covered it, Los Angeles Times covered it, New York Times, before there was Grumpy Cat, there was Morris, 9 Lives reminds consumers. Adweek actually did an interview with Morris, so they actually asked questions, we wrote back answers as Morris, and he answered. So that memorability actually relaunched his entire persona, which then was picked up elsewhere. So a really kind of interesting idea. And by the way, Hubert, I think you can attest to this, like, it's super hard to film cats, right?
That was my first time filming with cats, and just you know, they have a mind of their own, you know.
Yeah, it's like literally, it's like we're trying to get like 1 second of him staying still, but we film for like 10 minutes, right? So it's a challenge, but that memorability has payoffs, and it leads to that PR campaign we were able to generate off of that. Okay, so, and by the way, this is just for 9 Lives. After we relaunched him with a lot of those kind of tech correspondent type videos. We saw from June 2014 to March 2016, these are all organic impressions on Facebook. It went from 500,000 to 10 million organically in a month on Facebook. Went up 20 times. Audience reach in a month went from 200,000 to 6 million, 30 times up. So basically all of his metrics went up as we started making him more memorable. So, one, look to add situations and stories that are easy to remember, right? You want to have those stories that can resonate with people. 2, create concepts that trigger action at the moment of purchase. You want to trigger action. One of the things I love, Folgers Coffee did this, where they did a whole campaign about, or I'm sorry, not Folgers Coffee, it was Kit Kat, the candy bar. They did a whole campaign about having Kit Kat with your coffee. And the reason they did that as a trigger was people drink coffee all the time, right? A lot more often than they eat Kit Kats. But if you see a cup of coffee and you think, oh, a Kit Kat would be good with my coffee, they can use that as a trigger. Finally, make your video sticky by repeating primary messages at least 3 times in 3 different ways. So a lot of times, we're usually strapped for time. Sometimes we got to make a video for social that's under, YouTube is under 1 minute, or we're going to lose engagement. But we got to increase the stickiness and reinforce things. There's a reason why. And this is just a political example, and this is on the side of how you feel about any one candidate, but there's a reason why at the end of Donald Trump's RNC speech, people were like, oh, he's the law and order candidate, right? Like, why would they say that? Because he said law and order. He said I'm the law and order candidate. He repeated 4 times law and order. And then he also said the word laws 18 times in his speech, right? So it was repeated a lot, and that's why people kind of knew what it was about. So as you create your videos, make it more sticky by repeating things, not repetitively, but in new and interesting ways with the same core message. Usually the rule of 3 to make it at least have a chance to stick. Brings us to B number 5, which is be important. infuse your brand or product, make it more important than it is. Make it more relevant to the world. Make it make a difference, right? So you can have a brand like Zappos, which sells shoes, but instead they're more important if they deliver happiness, right? That's a more important mission than selling shoes. So what can we do to make our videos and through our videos make our brands more important? Here's a couple examples. This is Apple.
Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them. About the only thing you can't do is ignore them. Because they change things. They push the human race forward. While some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do.
So that's really interesting because Apple never said anything in that commercial that says what we're about, right? That we're like about, making different products, or we have this kind of like Zen-like design. We like something. They didn't do any of that. But did you get an impression of what Apple is all about from that? Right? You kind of changing the world. They said it. They also said that like these people, like they put them. By recognizing these people, they put themselves in this pantheon with like all. You saw like Picasso in there. You saw these like great people in that whole thing. Einstein in there, right? They put themselves kind of in that based on who they value. Does anyone recognize who the narrator of that was?
Steve Jobs.
That was Steve Jobs, which is actually not. Richard Dreyfuss did the actual commercial, but this was a preliminary version, which I actually like better. I actually think Steve Jobs is better at it than an actor, because it comes from that kind of authentic place of really, it's like, you hear, that's Steve Jobs, I can see why he believes that, right? So they're not just making computers. How are they making themselves more important? They're like out there changing the world with like genius level people doing it. And they're the ones they're not the incumbents, they're the instigators, right? They're the disruptors. And they're establishing their entire brand value based on a really, really effective video, but they're making themselves more important, right? They're not just making your computer, they're out there making the world a different place. And would you buy, put on your desk or in your pocket something that can help make your world a different and better place? Absolutely. Would you pay more for it? Probably, right? Here's an example of, I wanted to show the Apple video is very, very epic. I wanted to kind of show the opposite, something that was more designed for super short on social, on how you make your brand more important. And the other thing I'll say is both of these examples are pretty scrappy. Like almost anyone could have made that Apple video. Like it's not like a lot of the footage is in public domain. Pretty simple to do. So these don't have to be big budget like the Beats video to your example. But this is a brand of one of our clients, Harmless Harvest. Harmless Harvest, does anyone know Harmless Harvest? You like coconut water? They make like the freaking best coconut water, right? It's like really tasty. It's really good. They're one of our clients, and what they are all about is kind of making coconut water the right way, right? Like sort of making it like it's organic, it's sustainable. They pay everyone like not only like fair wages, but it's fair for life. They're like getting health benefits for people in Thailand, farmers, because it's what their company believes in. So how do we make them become more important? So this isn't just, they're not just coconut water makers, right? There's someone who believes in this idea of being harmless. So what we did was we came up with a whole campaign. This is the video, which is super short for social, that launched it. Nick did a great job. He went down to Santa Cruz, filmed the video. You'll see him in the video on his bike. And what we want to do was embed that sense of importance of the brand, was they're out for this bigger mission and what Harmless really means. And it was this whole, launched the whole 14 days of Harmless, different ways to do little actions to make a difference in the world. So here's the video. video, but it's saying, like, it showed all this thing. It's like, eat organic and reuse and recycle, and saying all these things, all these brand values in there. That this is a company that's out there to do little things to make a difference in the world. You can do those things. You can also drink like a coconut water, knowing well that, hey, you made a little difference in the world by drinking that coconut water. That's what we're trying to say there, right? And that's a post designed for social media, designed to be consumed fast to launch this campaign. So be important. Position your product and brand at a higher level of importance, a vision statement of where you'd like to be. Ask yourself this question. How would the brand we'd like to be do the things that we're about to do? If you're a young brand, if you're a startup, you don't really know what you're about. How is that company that we want to be, how would we do this task, this challenge we're going to do? I mean, when I think back to, Facebook in the early days when Mark Zuckerberg sort of said, we're not going to just sell a whole bunch of ads. I mean, now they sell a whole bunch of ads. But at the beginning, he said, we're not just going to put any old banner up. We want people to have a great user experience, right? So they asked, how is the brand we'd like to be, this company that's really important, that connects people, do the things we're about to do? Would we put up ads all over the place just because we get a quick buck now? Maybe not, right? And then embed your videos with social currency so that someone can share it to seem better, smarter, kinder, or in the know, right? So the idea is that we want to create, like in that Harmless Harvest video, a video where it's like, oh, yeah, I'm totally behind renewable energy. Oh, I'm totally behind eating organic. And if you share that, you can demonstrate something about yourself that you want the world to know about you, right? You can seem kinder. You can seem more environmentally conscious. You can seem more in the know. An example I love is, how many of you have heard of or been to the bar in New York that you're not supposed to talk about? Does anyone know? Okay, a couple people. It has a hidden door in New York, if you ever visited. You know what this is? So they actually have, Larry, what is the bar called?
I'm not supposed to talk about it.
Okay. It's called, I think, Don't Tell Anyone, right? And it's inside a hot dog shop. You have to go to a phone booth in the back. Right? So, yes, okay, so what they're doing there is, the social currency is, hey, you got to check out this place. I'm not supposed to tell you, but go to this bar, right? There's a social currency in knowing. Like Larry's like, yeah, I know what that is, right? Like there's social currency in that, right? So make your videos embedded with that social currency to get more people to share it. That's another way you can be important. Number 6, and we'll finish up with the last one, number 7. Be scrappy. So scrappy, we call ourselves an agency that works in real-time video. What that means is, it's not video that you have to plan 6 months in advance, spend multi-million dollars, have this big 30-person crew, have a crane and all this stuff, right? It's like, how can we use our resources more efficiently, more effectively? How can we repurpose video? How can we do all these things and be scrappy to get more return for each dollar we spend? Let me give you a couple examples. I love this video. This is anyone here French or speaks French? Yes? Okay. Okay, very good. So this is a video I love because anyone could film this. This is super scrappy and no budget. It's Google, and this is way more effective than Google's big budget videos. Here we go. Right? So it's a whole story that's told through that video. It's a scrappy video. Anyone probably here could film that, right? It's not hard to do. Was that a professional agency that did it? No. It was not. No. It was a designer on the team that had an idea, and they actually did it in-house. And they came up with the concept themselves and executed that themselves. And Google ended up using it all over the place because it was shown to like Larry and Sergey, and they loved it. And stuff like that. So it was actually done in-house. It was not a big agency that did that, right? So sometimes a scrappy idea, it can come from all kinds of sources. It doesn't have to be big budget, but that was a whole story, right? It was told through their search bar, and it was really interesting. You felt an emotional pull by seeing that kind of story. So here's an example of something we did. This is from Meow Mix, and I'm going to show you one example, and then later on sort of B number 7, I'll show you the second part. But basically, Meow Mix came to us, and what they wanted to do was, I think it was like National Cat Day was coming up. We wanted to start a community of cat lovers. We wanted to kind of launch it with the video. So we sort of brainstormed on our end, and we came up with something called the Acatemy, right? It's like the Academy, Acatemy of cat lovers. And we really had no budget to execute, couldn't really do anything. We wanted to give a sense of this is bigger. And we basically didn't really even have time or budget to film or anything. So we're just giving a sense, this is like a scrappy video, trying to make something bigger than what it really is, that will be creating this amazing global community of cat lovers. And here's the video.
What if there were a special group of people who knew how to celebrate the irresistible bond that brings cats and humans together? Introducing the Meow Mix Academy, the one-of-a-kind society for cat lovers just like you. When most people see a slipper, you see a perfect hiding spot. While most just see a bathroom, you know it's a state-of-the-art gym. That's why you don't just have cats, you get cats. So send us a photo or video of your cat that's totally irresistible and start enjoying Academy benefits like exclusive offers, amazing cat insights, and the chance to make your meow heard in our members-only polls. You'll join the leading pet experts, award-winning authors, and notable bloggers who make up the world's most influential community of cat parents. The Academy, the cat club everyone's meowing about.
So that's an example of a scrappy video. It's largely just mashing up existing assets, putting a voiceover on top. We have the benefit of Meow. How many of you know the Meow Mix song? Meow, meow. Okay, you know the song. We have the benefit of that to kind of tie the whole thing together. But we're creating something that sort of seems bigger just by being scrappy in how we sort of position and create the video, right? There's a lot of like benefits we have to put in there. We have to put in like you get exclusive offers, all these kind of requirements for the brand, but we're doing it in the context of something bigger, and we're being scrappy about how we do it. So our general principles are: look to recycle and reuse all footage in multiple contexts. Every film session should have at least 3 possible uses. We want to be able to repurpose and reuse things. 2, create mashups that use voiceover, editing, and graphics to create new versions of videos for different audiences. So you'll notice, sometimes we don't put in our video, it's National Cat Day or something. We put that in the copy, maybe on the YouTube page around it. We sometimes will then repurpose it for other days, make it more timely. We'll do a new edit that just has one little different to make it sort of for some other holiday or something else. And finally, don't try to make Die Hard if you've got a limited budget. Blair Witch Project can be just as impactful, right? So this is, in terms of like that Google video, right? You can make just as much impact as a $3 million Beats video if you think about the concept. So don't try to do explosions. Instead, get at the heart of the story, the heart of the emotion. You can be a bit more scrappy, and you can still make the impact and get the ROI that you want. Bring us to the final B, which is number 7, be timely. This is something I think a lot of people neglect. At PR Hacker, we really focus on it because being timely means being relevant to the conversation right now. What's happening? What are people talking about? It's the end of summer. What's like summer road trips are happening. Then back to school. Then it's after back to school, and you're getting back in the flow of the fall. And like, what's happening? What's trending right now? So let me give you a couple examples just to wrap up before we do our lightning pitches. This is Dove. And what Dove looked at, Dove soap, is the trend in the conversation was really trending at the time around what it means to be beautiful. And a lot of the backlash against like airbrushed, photoshopped images on magazines, that was trending at the time. So they're looking at that, saying that's really timely, and how can we be timely and do a video that responds to that? I'll just show you the first part of this video because it's long.
I'm a forensic artist. Worked for the San Jose Police Department from 1995 to 2011.
I showed up to a place I'd never been, and there was a guy with a drafting board.
We couldn't see them, they couldn't see us.
Tell me about your hair.
I didn't know what he was doing, but then I could tell after several questions that he was drawing me.
Tell me about your chin.
It kind of protrudes a little bit, especially when I smile.
Your jaw.
My mom told me I had a big jaw.
What would be your most prominent feature?
Kind of have a fat, rounder face.
The older I've gotten, the more freckles I've gotten.
I would say I have a pretty big forehead.
Once I get a sketch, I say thank you very much, and then they leave. I don't see them.
All I had been told before the sketch was to get friendly with this other woman, Chloe.
Today I'm gonna ask you some questions about a person you met earlier, and I'm gonna ask you some general questions about their face.
She was thin, so you could see her cheekbones. And her chin, it was a nice, thin chin.
She had nice eyes. They lit up when she spoke.
Cute nose.
She had blue eyes, very nice blue eyes.
So here we are. This is the sketch that you helped me create, and that's a sketch that somebody described of you.
So yeah, that's...
She looks closed off and fatter, sadder too. The second one looks more open, friendly, and happy.
I should be more grateful of my natural beauty. It impacts the choices and the friends that we make, the jobs we apply for, how we treat our children. It impacts everything. It couldn't be more critical to your happiness.
Do you think you're more beautiful than you say?
Yeah. Yeah.
We spend a lot of time as women analyzing and trying to fix the things that aren't quite right. And we should spend more time appreciating the things that we do like.
I had to play the whole thing because it was like so good, right? Like I can't cut that off. That was really good, right? How many of you felt like, you don't have to be shy, felt like a little bit weepy-eyed, like a little bit? Okay, right? Like I was like, oh, hit you like emotionally, right? That kind of thing, what real beauty is. So, you know, that was a very timely video for the mood of what that is. And also it's obviously triggered a lot of emotions. Another emotional trigger is to see people experiencing the emotion they want you to feel, right? So probably all of you, I don't know when you started to want to cry, was when she started crying, right? You're like, oh my God, I'm more beautiful than I realized, right? So all those things, but it's like timely understanding the cultural trend and mood of the conversation. So here's an example of one of ours. This is going to be a totally different mood. We created the Cat's Meow Awards, okay? Which is to celebrate amazing moments on the internet. Does anyone have an idea of when we created this video, when we released it? Wow, it was timely. When would you release an award video? What's that?
Academy Awards.
Academy Awards, right? There's going to be Oscar coverage. So the idea was, what if we do the cat Oscars, right? We actually tried the Acatemy Awards, and we couldn't legally use that. It was too outside the house, so we had to do this. We came up with the Cat's Meow Awards instead. And here's the situation. We want to be timely, and we wanted to give the feel of this is a big award show, even though all we can really do is do a series of videos, right? And these were all off of the Academy video I already showed you, people submitting in user-generated content. We just wanted to showcase that content, highlight that Meow Mix had a new product called Irresistible Treats. So it's like one of the first to actually treat your cat. A lot of people treat dogs, but not cats. We want to highlight that product. We want to do a way that feels like a big award show. Hubert headed this up. Feels like a big award show, but it seems super timely because the Oscars are happening right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's the 2015 Cat's Meow Awards, the first ever award show dedicated to the irresistible moments that cats and humans share. Brought to you by the world's most influential community of cat lovers, the Meow Mix Academy.
Who will take home the Cat's Meow Award for Best Cathlete? The nominees are...
Slow Motion Jump from Vianney and Kiddo.
Incredible. That is slow.
But how does he do it?
Must be jumping for an irresistible's treat.
First Christmas from Sally and Lily.
What stamina.
I heard she'd been training all year for that. Crazy Legs Panda from Miracle and Panda.
That cat is crazy. Crazy entertaining.
I think someone deserves a treat, don't you, Veronica?
You're telling me, John.
And Super Cat from Taylor and Luna.
I have 2 words for you.
What are they?
Wow and wow. The Meow Mix Academy members have voted, and the Cat's Meow Award for Best Cathlete goes to...
Crazy Legs Panda, submitted by Miracle and Panda from Buckeye, Arizona.
The Academy was in awe of Panda's sheer determination, and of course, his crazy legs. Congratulations on being the best cathlete on the internet.
Want to join the Meow Mix Academy and vote in our next awards? Submit your own irresistible moment at irresistiblemoments.com.
Does anyone recognize the voice of John? Yes, that was me. So be timely, be relevant. A lot of times we think like, let's make a great video and then let's figure out how to distribute it. In this case, we're saying we have a great hook, the Academy Awards. Let's figure out how we can get our brand message. In this case, we're showing all these irresistible moments because we want to make it clear that when you see your cat do something like that, you give them a Meow Mix treat, right? That's the explicit mention. That's why we're showcasing these moments and saying, you see in the dialogue, oh, give that cat a treat, Veronica, right? It's because of that. So think like a journalist to create video that aligns with the cultural and industry calendar and with current trends. Current trends, great example is Dove. Use graphics to adapt older videos to make them look relevant for each new timely hook or news peg, right? So you can take your videos and let's turn this video into a summer video, or a winter video, or a spring video. Let's make some little adjustments. That's part of that scrappy mentality. And finally, A/B test and optimize your on-page content to make your video searchable for that timely news hook. So all of that page that you're putting on your YouTube page, all of that text, is a way that you can show up in search engines. And sometimes there's not a lot of video for a certain topic that's timely, especially if you're quick and fast about it. So all of that really matters. You can test it. You can SEO optimize. You want to SEO optimize your video pages. You want to run transcripts of the text on your page. You want to put the work into that. It's especially relevant when you're timely. Like if you're just doing a generic video, I mean, it's still important to do video SEO, but if you're super timely and you're the first video coming out on National Cat Day or something like that, then all of a sudden you can dominate those kind of searches for that video and you can find an audience right away. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this talking about it, but come up after if you want to ask us about how we seed and distribute videos with influencers to get initial plays, and how we seed things on Reddit or other places to get that initial burst. We can talk more about distribution, but a key one is making it easy to find that video by making it super timely and then making that timely connect to search engines and other hooks that bring people in. Okay, so the final thing before we do a few sample pitches here is this is our engagement scorecard. What this is this takes the 7 B's we just talked about, and what we do is we think about it on a score of 0, 1, or 2. So if we have, I'm missing one at the top there, but if we have, be likable or be emotional. If we didn't really do it, that's a 0. If we did it okay, that's a 1. If we did it fantastic, that's a 2 for each of those 7 B's. And so we're thinking about, out of 12 points possible, how many of these have we hit? And not every video can you hit every one, but if we can activate as many of these as we can, we know that we have the building blocks of really compelling content, really high engagement. We know that we're making an emotional connection. If we do all these things in a video, we know we have a great chance to make a video that causes people to share or laugh or cry or buy, right? To take that action that we want. So it's just a way to sort of unpack and get out of the what of your video and actually figure out what are the core foundation that we need to trigger. If we trigger them, we're going to have a much, much, much greater chance for our video to be really successful. Does that make sense? If I've said one thing that has been useful today, at least say, "Aw, yeah." Yeah. Okay, that's good. If I said at least 2 things that were somewhat useful or helpful, say, "That's what I'm talking about." Okay, good. We did okay then. Cody, we did okay. The other thing I'll say is we have a YouTube channel that we're putting a lot of content on right now. So youtube.com/prhacking. There's a lot of our sessions on other topics. Like we just did one on seed to Series A. For those who how to use PR to radically expand your audience and raise more investment. We did another one on the rise of viral marketing. If you want to talk about how to distribute things virally, we have a session on that. So youtube.com/prhacking. We're on Twitter. Please tweet at us if this was useful. Tell us one thing that you found useful at PR Hacking. Facebook, that's our Facebook address. And then if you want to connect with me personally, my email is just ben@prhacker.com, @BenjaminKaplan on Twitter. And let me end with like kind of the final thought of the day, which is I really think that as you approach videos, it kind of seems like a daunting task. It seems like this thing where like, oh my gosh, you need this like amazing concept. You need this, it needs to like catch on wildfire. I need to somehow get 50 million people to share this thing. Oh, I need a video that's like, you know, the Dollar Shave Club. So I'm going to go film a video in my house where I'm like walking out and knocking things over and saying my product is freaking awesome, right? Like, you have to do that. And what I would just suggest is that a lot of this process of really becoming great at making videos is the incremental process of just making your video a little bit better. So it's not that you have to make that magic bullet of a video that answers all your questions. Instead, try to make it 10% more emotional. Try to make it 12% more timely. Try to make it 4% more memorable. And just keep improving and incrementing. And pretty soon what you find is suddenly you have a video that has engagement here, and it's engagement here. And then you improve, and you increment, and you reuse, and you mash up, and you be scrappy. Improve it a little bit, it gets a little bit more, and it gets a little bit more. And pretty soon, you're then able to, have a video that's amazing, that reaches all of your goals, but 2, it becomes a consistent thing that you can execute again and again and again. So my wish for all of you is not that you leave here today, you go make the next, Gangnam Style viral hit, and you go live on a Caribbean island with your billions of dollars. That's not my wish for you. I'll be happy for you if that happens. But my wish for you is that it will take some work. It will take some effort. You will have to think strategically. You will have to be passionate. You will have to be likable. You will have to be memorable. You will have to take the little action steps that get you closer to the brand and the product that you want to be. And if you do those things and you work hard and you take those little action steps, I truly believe this is possible, and you can make a great video that establishes your brand as something that is truly important and is truly something to be reckoned with in the world. So I hope it will take a little work. I think the work has huge rewards, and I wish you all that kind of success.